I gained 1.4 pounds this weekend, but I didn't call it a loss. I call it a win. Hear me out. Yes, I gained a pound and some change this weekend, but I didn't freak out. I didn't spiral. Here's why. This weekend was different because I was different. I want to walk you through it, not just how it happened, but how I handled it, because that's where the real growth showed up, and that's what I would call a win. So let's get it out of the bag. I did not post a weekend update of how I was doing, and that's because I was out of town and I met up with some friends. It wasn't a surprise trip. I knew it was coming, and I planned to not work out and to not be in a calorie deficit. But I did plan to not lose control. And that's a big difference from where I used to be to where I am now. Because if this was me 6 months ago, the outcome would have been completely different. I used to be that person who would consider eating outside of my diet as a cheat day, which would ultimately cause me to eat everything in sight, drink everything in sight, and I would treat it like I wasn't going to ever eat anything that tastes good in my life again. Then the shame would start settling in, and at that point I'd be like, well, I already did this, might as well do this, and this, which would cause me to binge eat and eat until I was sick. Then I would feel so ashamed that I ate the way I did, and I would be like, well, there's no point in me doing a diet now. I have no self-control, which would cause me to put off restarting my diet. That cycle had me in a hole for years, but this weekend was the first time I did things different, and I did them with intention. I let myself be present. I let myself have fun. I ate what I wanted, but I listened. I listened to my body. I ate when I was hungry. I stopped when I was full, which seems like a big duh, but I had a real bad problem of eating until I couldn't fit anything else in my body physically. I think that old mindset stemmed from being on a strict diet, and then when you give yourself an inch, you take a whole mile. You want to eat everything in your path because you're like, I can't eat this when I'm back on the diet, so I need to eat everything now. And that is a very unhealthy mindset to have. That was the mindset I was in a chokehold by. So this weekend I didn't obsess. I didn't obsess over my calorie count. I didn't obsess with how much sugar I was eating. I just said, listen to your body. You know what your body can take. Listen to it. And honestly, it felt so freeing. And here's where that mindset really shifted. I didn't treat me eating what I wanted as a failure. I didn't carry any shame with it because it wasn't a failure. It was a choice that I made. I knew I wanted to enjoy it, but I also knew I didn't want to undo all the progress that I made in the last few days. And because I didn't go overboard, it was easier for me to continue my lifestyle. And what I really love about this is that it showed me that I was capable, because I have a Vegas trip coming up, and I've kind of been worried on how am I going to continue this progress after I'm done with a weekend in Vegas with my family. But I now know that I can come back from it as long as I have intention when I'm going into it. And of course, as long as I listen to my body. Because this isn't just about counting calories. It's about breaking old habits, breaking old cycles, and becoming the best version of myself physically, mentally, and spiritually. Yes, I'm still working towards my goal of losing 60 pounds this year. But for once, I feel like I'm not living in the extreme, because if I reach that goal, I will be so excited. But if I don't, I know that I tried my hardest. I know that along the way, I healed my mind, I healed my body, and I healed my soul. Because I'm learning to trust myself. I'm learning how to continue without guilt, continue without fear of losing what I've progressed in. And I love where I'm at. And if you're there too, you're not alone. And if you're just joining, you're not alone. And if you have no idea what you're doing with your life, you're not alone. So if you felt like this, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to know that I'm not alone, and I'd love for you to know that you're also not alone. So this is the weekend update. This is me checking in from this past weekend. I've continued on this journey, and I can't wait to check in with you tomorrow.